come join me on my Glacier Bay adventure and let me share with you what I learned about Glacier Bay.
Hi, Michelle here from Travelling Over 60. Come join me on this adventure.
Hi, it's Glacier Bay Day. I'm so excited to show you the photos. Hopefully it's not an overload of photos. So let me tell you about how Glacier Bay, the day, how it worked for us. Now we're on Koningsdam, Holland America line, and some ships are different, but for us, this is how it worked. So Glacier Bay only allows, I think it's only 2 or 3 ships in per day. We were lucky enough, we were allowed in, we cruised down, and the scenery along the way is amazing. And when you get to the end, the ship will slow and let one side look at the glacier, about 30, maybe 40 minutes, and then it slowly will turn and you get to see it on the other side. Now, if you're lucky enough to have a veranda room, then you can just sit on your balcony and watch the whole day go by. But you might like to go up to the top. Maybe when it's not on your side, you might like to go up onto the top deck. Make sure you put those warm clothes on because it was freezing. And then go up onto the top deck and you can go to whichever side the glacier's on. Now, if you have an inside cabin, it's the same thing. Just go up on the top deck. You can go into the crow's nest. Don't forget that the crow's nest is there. And you go in there, and when the ship is turning, you'll get to see it the whole time. So that's the choice you have to make. What a choice to have to make. Now's a good time to remind you. No, not about thumbs up, but you can give me a thumbs up if you like. I just always like to remind people, remember where you are and what you're doing and how lucky you are to be in Glacier Bay looking at this amazing creation. Don't forget, stop, smell the roses. For us, we just sat on our balcony all day long. You're going to see that in a minute. And the photos were amazing. Let me show you Glacier Bay. Look at everything we've ticked off, including Skagway. So let's have a look. We've finished in Skagway. Now we're going across to Glacier Bay, and you can see how close Glacier Bay is to Skagway. So of course, I'm up early because I don't want to miss anything. Yup, I'm up at 3 a.m. and I'm so glad I did not miss this sunrise. Now, we just sat on the veranda and we watched the sunrise, but while I was there, I was really cursing myself that we didn't book in to get breakfast delivered to our room. So that's something to take into account. You might like to do that. So we headed upstairs and had a little bit of a wander around up there. I did some videoing for you guys. And then we went and had breakfast. But while we were up having breakfast, this happened. National Parks coming on board for Glacier Bay. So what happens is the National Parks come on board and they spend all day with you. They'll be up in the crow's nest and they set up a board that will tell you everything that's happening through the day. Okay, let's have a look at the weather. 4 degrees, it's freezing. And it's overcast and it's a little bit of a drizzle happening. It's blowing in a little bit onto our veranda. But we've got on jeans, woolly socks and no shoes today because we're going to spend the day on the veranda. And we definitely have our thermals on. Now we also have on a long sleeve t-shirt, a jumper with a hood on it, a scarf, our gloves, our woolly hats, our jackets with a hood, and then we have the Holland America blanket that they leave in your room for you to use on your veranda. Oh dear, I know I said we had jeans on, but my husband likes to wear shorts, so he will be making the most of those blankets. Now the other thing you're going to need is your binoculars and your camera. Now a bit of a tip here. If you're holding the binoculars for great lengths of time, your arms start to ache. So it might be a good idea if you have a strap around your binoculars and then that leaves your hands free for your camera. Oh look, another map. Now this map's from the National Park Services on Glacier Bay, just to give you a look where the ship actually goes. Now as you can see, it's a little bit of a cruise down to where we went down as far as Marjorie Glacier. But if the weather isn't good or sometimes they can't make it down that far, they will stop and take you into John Hopkins Glacier. Now, as you're cruising down, you're going to come across other glaciers, and the scenery and the wildlife is amazing. But let me show you what we did. So straight after breakfast, we headed up to the Crow's Nest because we knew the national parks people were in there and they were giving a talk and they had some things that you could look at and some other things you could purchase. But like I said before, the Crow's Nest was packed. There was so many people in there. And this is my bugbear. Let me know in the comments down below. What do you think about people that save seats? Now, the Crow's Nest was absolutely packed, but also there was so many people saving seats. I haven't got a problem with one or two, but these people had saved 8 seats. Another lady was saving 12 seats, and everybody just had to stand up, and those people didn't arrive. Maybe keep that in mind if you have to save a seat for somebody. Now, enough of that. Then you look out the window and you see where you are, and the landscapes are amazing. Now, look at this photo. I just want to talk about the weather. It was a cold, miserable, drizzly, rainy day this day, but it still made for some amazing photographs, so don't be disappointed if it rains. We are in Alaska and it rains a lot. Okay, I think we're ready. We're going to settle in on our chairs with our blankets and our woolly socks and watch the world go by. Oh wait, plenty of time for a selfie. And I forgot to mention, you might need sunglasses. Now you're going to see so much on this day. You're definitely going to see some sort of wildlife. Now I just want to show you in this photo. What you're actually looking for is those ripples in the water and a little tiny black head popping up. Now if you look close here, I'm going to put an arrow. That's a seal. But they're very shy and very hard to photograph. Every time I put the camera where they were, there was no head. You can see a few spots there where it's rippling, but no seal. But they were definitely there. Now, Glacier Bay is a day of bringing your patience. You're just going to be sitting and waiting for something to happen. And then before you know it, right here where the arrow is, a whale pops up.
Number one, there it is, tail.
I know, they're really hard to see, but we did see lots. Now we also saw some icebergs floating by, and there's lots of interesting things happening in the water. And of course, what's water without seeing some birds on an iceberg? And those birds happen to be seagulls. So they did come right up close to the ship. Now, some of these photos aren't so good because it was pouring. And just a reminder, they are wild. You're not allowed to feed any of the animals, not even throwing bread over to the birds, which bread is really bad for them anyway. Now, I'm sure I don't need to tell you, but there's going to be a lot of mountains, a lot of snow, But keep a really close look because there's also waterfalls that are coming down the sides of the mountain. And you never know what else you're going to see when you're looking through those binoculars. When I was zoomed right in looking at the formation of the rocks, I noticed some people. They must have been on an expedition cruise. Now, the national parks make commentary as you're travelling along, and that can be heard over the speakers when you're sitting either in your room or on your veranda. So, as you come across the next glacier, or they might see a whale or something, they will announce it so that you can then look out for it. Whew, let's take a break for a minute. Has any of this information been helpful to you? Well, if it has, can you give me a thumbs up? It'll really help me out. Thanks for your support. Okay, we're getting closer to the end of Glacier Bay. But before I show you any more photos, I just want to explain something. For those of you who've been following along from the very beginning, will know that I bought a telescopic lens for my iPhone. Well, what I didn't realize was it is so heavy. It was so hard to keep it stable while I was trying to focus. Well, I tried really hard to work it out, and some of the video and some of the photos is okay, but others I look like I'm peeping through a keyhole. If nothing else, it gave me a good close-up look at the rock formation and the ice, how it crystallized together. But I think it was an epic fail. Enjoy these few photos until we make it to the end of Glacier Bay. As I take my last snap of the Grand Pacific Glacier, the boat turns to our side and we get to see this amazing Marjorie Glacier. Now, some of these photos I've zoomed in and some are through the telescopic lens, but you really do get quite close to it to get some amazing photos. And don't forget to listen for the thunder that comes when a chunk of ice carves off. We weren't lucky enough to see that. What was that?
That was a thunder.
Where is it though?
It was up that way, but it was up further. It wasn't here.
No.
Probably an avalanche.
Might get a repercussion here. We kept hearing the rumblings, but I couldn't see anything. It was driving me crazy. I hear that noise. It must be an avalanche further back.
Been moved somewhere.
Yeah. There's some big thundering happening up there. A couple of avalanches. But we can't see it. Now, I took a lot of video with the hope that we would just see a piece of ice carve off. But that wasn't to be for our trip to Glacier Bay. But my fingers are crossed for you.
Did you get it? Down the bottom, just right in front of us, a little bit splashed off. If you had a video of the whole lot, you would have got it.
Now, I kept zooming in to see if I could see something, and I thought I was videoing this, but I was only on photo. And I took a photo just as this chunk fell off. But that's the best I could do. Now, we'd been here for quite some time and the rain was getting harder now, but I could feel the ship starting to move forward. Our time in Glacier Bay had come to an end. Like every other stop, I've taken hundreds of photos and I can't tell you how many videos. It's getting cold now and the rain, as I said, is getting harder, so we're getting a little wet. We think it's time to go inside, but not before we take just one more photo. Okay, that's it now. Just a few photos as we move out of the bay. Now, I have got no more words to say about Glacier Bay other than amazing. Now, I'm going to put a few more photos up here for you to enjoy. And if you don't want to see that, you might like to skip to the end to find out where we're going next. Are you liking this video? Well, I know I've already reminded you, but one more reminder, give me a thumbs up if you like it. But I haven't mentioned, have you subscribed to my channel? If you have, thank you, I really appreciate it. And if you haven't, go across, subscribe to my channel and ring the notification bell so you don't miss the next video. Now my next video is going to be Ketchikan. Now that's the last of our Alaskan videos, but you don't want to miss Ketchikan either. And it rained, the weather was miserable, but I want to show you what we got to do even though it was a terrible day. So don't miss my next video. Make sure you've rung that notification bell. Thanks for watching, and I appreciate your support.